Hi guys, welcome to Love What Luck. If you're new here, I'm Sadie and I'm just going to go straight in with the important issues. If you're not following me on Spotify, then please do so immediately. And I would love for you to leave me a review. I'm on 5 stars currently, which I'm absolutely loving. So if you're on Spotify, please just go back, hit the 5-star reviews. It takes literally less than a second. And it means the absolute world to me. And also obviously hit the follow button there. Or if you're watching on YouTube, please remember to subscribe. Basically wherever you get your podcast, just give a gal a follow and help me out please, because I'm back and I just love sharing these stories with you. And this week, oh my god, I loved the story. Honestly, it had me like hooked and I'm excited to share it with you. So I'm just going to go straight in. The reason why we're all here is for these juicy stories. Okay, when I was 17, I got into my first serious relationship. He was a year older than me and we just hit it off instantly. The relationship was doomed from the beginning and I was young and naive to think it would work. The first red flag was that he was engaged to an older woman. I knew what we were doing was wrong and hated myself for being the other girl. After a few arguments and attempts to finish with him, he decided he was leaving his girlfriend and so we got together. However, he had cheated to get with me, so I knew the signs and was convinced he was seeing someone else. This was the start of a very untrusting relationship and he was incredibly secretive doing it. Before we go on, can I just say, I am hooked to this story. This story has me in a chokehold immediately. I moved away to uni where he stayed with me for months and I was subsidising him. So she was like fully paying his way whilst he was in uni with her. Second red flag, can I just say. I saw some messages and found out his ex-fiancée was pregnant with his child. The messages between them was him telling her we had split up and he was living away earning a living so he could support her and the baby. In fact, I was supporting him paying for everything, including his smoking habit. So this is what we have to understand, right? He's cheating on his fiancée with this girl. This girl gets with him, and even though he's promised that he's single, she knows the signs of him cheating because obviously he cheated with her. So she's like convinced that he's with somebody else, does some digging, finds out that in fact his ex-fiancée is pregnant with his child, and he's telling her that he's working away to earn money to support them both, when in fact he's living in uni halls with this girl and she's like paying his way basically and he's not even working. Wow. I confronted him and he twisted it around so that what I read wasn't in the correct context and that his ex was crazy. The ex is always crazy. I wonder why, sir. I wonder why. Honestly, I see like TikToks about that, like if a guy you're dating says his ex is crazy, it's a red flag, and absolutely true. And you know what? This is going to be a little bit, it's going to leave you a little bit judgmental, but what we must remember is there's no judgment on Love What Luck. We don't judge and we don't shame. But what I will say is, I have called an ex crazy before and I remember doing it with my friend, right? With this guy, we were out and we were just chatting about it and I was like, oh yeah, my ex was crazy and he did this and that, and he was like, yeah, but were you doing anything bad? And I was like, actually yeah, I was. And I was like, oh, I am the red flag there. That is a red flag. So it's actually true. If somebody says they've got a crazy ex, there's usually a good reason for it. Okay, sorry, I wasn't planning on going on that segue there. He had convinced me that I was delusional, that nobody else would want me, and he belittled me every chance he had. I'm sorry, at this point I hate this guy, like you absolute wanker. The relationship was affecting everything in my life. My family hated him, I was failing uni, I was getting myself in debt, getting him out of some drug debt, and working to fund his lifestyle. That is just controlling all over in it. And do you know what, when she said she was 17 meeting him, even though he was only a year older, I feel like controlling partners like really prey on young girls, especially if it's like their first love, because that's like their first experience of love. So like sometimes it takes a while to even like know what's wrong. Like I always mention this, but like my first 2 boyfriends were controlling and it took me like a long time to understand that that wasn't like what love was. Like I used to think, oh my god, they love me so much, they don't want me to go out and do anything. no, that's not the case. But when you're like 15 in a relationship and somebody is telling you, like your first love is telling you like, oh please don't go, like I really don't want you to, you kind of think, oh my god, he just like loves me so much. No, these are big red flags. Honestly, if ever you want to ask me red flags on controlling relationships, then send me a DM and we can get into it. Okay, back to the story, sorry. The relationship was beginning to get pretty volatile and there was no trust at all. I heard rumours he was seeing another girl, not the pregnant ex, and was going home and staying with her when he wasn't with me. Sorry, what? It reached boiling point about a year into our relationship and I needed to get away from it. I spoke to my parents who would have done anything for me to get away from him, I can imagine. He was manipulating and everything was my fault. We decided I would go and spend the summer with friends in Arctic Canada as we knew there was no way of him even contacting me as I had no phone signal and very little internet. It was the perfect escape. I'm sorry, that really is. My escape was always back to the Rhondda Valleys, which, contrary to what people say and make jokes at, definitely does have the internet, so isn't that far away for a cut off. But what the girl did say is she messaged me after and she was like, I just want to say I understand like what a lucky position I was in that my friends, that my family were able to pay for me to go to Canada. She was like, I understand that that's a privilege. So yeah, she was obviously super lucky that she managed to do it. To be able to go somewhere, you know, when your phone not work is so rare, and I think we all need to do that. Like, that's the ideal way to deal with a breakup, I think. Just like cut yourself off from everything and force yourself to heal. I literally saw him the day before I left, but I didn't tell him I was going. Whew, that's bold. It was difficult but therapeutic. He had heard through the grapevine I was in Canada and messaged me on Facebook blaming everyone apart from himself for our relationship falling apart. Standard. At the end of the 8 weeks, I realised that I'd had a lucky escape. I was in a place I was able to deal with the relationship ending. I had heard rumours that he was officially with one of the other girls. However, 4 months later, I get a message from one of my friends saying he had got married to his ex-girlfriend so they could be a family together. I thought maybe the child has changed him and he finally realised he can't leave distraught and broken girls everywhere. However, months later, I read an article in the paper that he was charged with domestic abuse on his wife and ended up in jail. No. I don't know what fully happened. He had also cheated on her while she was pregnant with a second child and had got another girl pregnant. So now he has 2 kids at the same age. That's going to be an awkward conversation when they start school together. I realised at this point I had a very lucky escape and I knew that I was in a much better place. Whoa, I think we need to recap a little bit here. So he's basically with this girl, rumours that he's seeing another girl and he's also got his ex pregnant, or he's also convincing her that they need to be together. This girl goes to Canada, leaves him. Meanwhile, he is married to the ex, had a second child together, but has gone to prison for domestic abuse. Oh my god, honestly, this listener, imagine the like luck and like how relieved you'd feel knowing that you escaped that. I feel like sad for his wife because obviously now they've got 2 kids together, and when you have kids it just like changes everything, doesn't it? Like you're always tied to that person. So for her to be going through that, and actually I spoke to the girl that sent me this story like afterwards, and she said she also heard because basically I said, oh, it's so good that the guy got jailed, because I think that's really rare. Like unfortunately domestic abuse, I think, is rare for it to even get to court in lots of cases, let alone actual jail time. So I was like, that's like a really good thing. And she said, yeah, like that's good, but I did hear that his wife got back with him after he came out of prison. Like, I don't know if they're still together, but she definitely got back with him. And I just think that's so sad, like when somebody's in like a proper controlling and violent relationship like that, it's so hard to leave, like so hard. So I just hope she's okay. What an absolute like bastard this guy is. Okay, so we're back to the listener now. I dropped out of uni and took a year out of life working at Tesco, deciding what I actually wanted a career in. Fast forward to 2015, I had just started my career as a sorry, as a quantity surveyor. What is wrong with me sometimes in words, like I swear. And this young, albeit we are the same age, engineer walks into the office. I text one of my friends who went to school with him and said I'm going to get with him, even if it was just once or for a relationship. 6 weeks after starting the job, we got together. He treats me like a princess, knew I had trust issues from previous relationships, and has never given me a reason to doubt him. He also works away with work and there are no worries there. Absolutely love that for her. We have now been together for nearly 8 years, married for nearly 4, had a baby in January. We both have great careers, a nice house, and he is honestly the love of my life. If it wasn't for all the hurt that my ex had caused me, I wouldn't have dropped out of uni, and the trajectory my life was taking would have been very different. I wouldn't have met my husband, so for that I'm extremely grateful. This is the thing, guys. This is like the sliding doors theory, I'm gonna call it at this point. Like, this is what happens, and I love it. Like, when you go through some bad shit, just know that that's not it forever, and is taking you on a path. Like, you might not see it yet, but I'm such a believer in, like, everything happens for a reason, and it's taking you on like a path that you're meant to be on. I just like truly believe that. Whether that's even with the same person, a different place, like whatever, but there's a reason for it and it will always work out. Like, obviously I'm just somebody that I'm not a professional, but the proof is in all these stories I get, because even like the ones that are so bad, they always come out okay at the end. Like, they always have a happy ending, and yeah, I just love them. I'm gonna turn the light down because it's gone quite dark. Okay, hopefully that's better. Side note, this is what I need your subscriptions for, because I'm desperate to get into a studio. Anytime like one little thing goes wrong when I'm recording this, I'm like, just need a studio. So yeah, this is my other plug. Please hit subscribe so I can get a studio and it'd be better quality for you guys. So yeah, thank you as always for sharing. I think especially with this listener, like, the story starts and she is the like quote unquote side chick, and I think it was really brave for her to share that, because you get so much judgment for being like the girl on the side, obviously, but like, I think I said it was in last week's episode, like, when you're with somebody, like when you meet somebody and they are telling you like, oh, I'm gonna leave my girlfriend, like, and they spin so many lies, or boyfriend, or basically their partner, and they're like, I'm so miserable there, like, I'm just trying to wait for the right moment. If you like really like somebody, you have to try and understand that it's not the other person's fault. Like, it's always your partner's fault. Do you get me? It's never nice, but ultimately, and I'm always like one for like girls should support girls, but you just know that this guy was like super manipulative and was literally saying, I'm gonna break up with my girlfriend, and surprise, he didn't. So yeah, that is this week's Love What Luck story. Juicy as always. Again, if you've got a story to share, DM me. I'm at Sadie Maltby or at Love What Luck, and I've also left my email in the show notes. As always, I will get back to you, slowly but surely, but I will always get back to you. So yeah, please send me your stories, because you know we all love to hear them. And honestly, every single week, pretty much like every day or every other day, I get a message from somebody saying that the story has helped them. Like, I've listened to this story and it helped me so much. It made me feel like I'm not alone. It's given me hope. It's made me realise like there's always silver linings. Like, honestly, they're actually super helpful. So yeah, thank you for sharing. Hope you all enjoyed the bank holiday weekend. I had my mother with me this weekend, and I planned like a full surprise for her on, what night was it? Friday night. So basically she came up for the King's coronation, and we were having like a relaxed Thursday night local drinks, and then Friday night I was like, I'm just going to plan a full surprise for you. So her one request was she wanted to see St. Paul's. So I was like, obviously Madisons, where else would we go? You know, like, it's got such a great view of St. Paul's. For anyone who doesn't know, it's a cocktail bar, and can I just say, actually, definitely a place to go to pull. Absolutely, definitely. I even had some comments, like, as I was walking around, I was like with my mother and in a coat because it was windy. So I think everyone goes there on the pull. It's one of those places, city vibes. The guys are there, like, it's very equal. Like, I wouldn't say it's a sausage fest, but it's definitely equal numbers, like girl and guys. So you've definitely got a fair bit of choice there. City guys, some Essex guys as well. And the calibre was okay there, I think. I mean, I didn't have like a proper look around. But yeah, side note, if you're in London, I would recommend Madison. If you can definitely get a number in Madison. If you're looking for somebody, you know, to send a quick cheeky text to, I recommend Madisons. So anyway, yeah, we went to Madisons, and then my mother, do you even care about this story? I don't know, but I want to say it. My mother is obsessed with the Savoy, like she watches the TV show and stuff, so I booked it there as a surprise. And I went in the taxi and like pulled up for her, and she was like, oh no, Sadie, no, the Savoy, no. And then we went in and they were so lovely there. Like, I've been there before, but I've never eaten there, but every time I've gone, like, you just understand why it's got such a good name and reputation. The staff are just absolutely amazing there. And my mother teared up because she was so happy and like chuffed. It was the sweetest thing. Do you know, I think like getting older, you realise one of the things that makes you happiest in life, this is going to sound so cheesy, but I honestly think as you get older, you really realise the importance of like making other people happy. I was like a mother with a child. You know, like when a baby does stuff and you like constantly videoing it, that's what I was like. Whereas usually I'm like, will you take a picture of me? Will you take a picture of me? Will you take a picture of me? This weekend I was like, Mum, go and have a picture there. Go and have a picture there. Go and have a picture of St. Paul's in the background. There was a King Charles cutout. Where did I go? At the Ivy for dinner one night. I was like, have a picture by King Charles there. Let me take a picture of you here having dinner. I was like a proud mom, even though I was the daughter. And yeah, it was just so nice, so I wanted to share that little story. I think we sometimes underestimate the power of like doing something for other people. It doesn't really make you feel good, and I've actually started to take that on board just in like my everyday life. So I don't know like what it's like for you guys, but if you live in London, right, it definitely turns you into a different person. So when I go, this is a perfect example, right? When I go back home, I'm from the Rhondda Valleys, when I go back home there for a walk, every single person you pass will say morning, yeah? Hi, morning, morning. When you're in London, you can go a full day and not a single person will even make eye contact with you. Like, it can be so savage and lonely, and I think when you're here for a while, you just get caught up in it. You just get caught up, like, I'm also in a rush walking on the tube. I'm not making eye contact with somebody. If somebody comes and talks to me, I'm like, oh my god, what is this now? Like, it does just change you, and it is quite an unfriendly place. But I've started lately to be like, if I notice something, to just like try and do like teeny tiny things to be a little bit more helpful. So for example, today I was walking past a window by Pret, and a girl was there trying to knock the window to, I don't know if it was a boyfriend or a brother or whatever, to a guy basically outside, was with another guy. And I had my head down and I actually walked past her. I was in my London headspace and I was like, no, like you can see that she's trying to get at him. So I like quickly did a backtrack and I tapped the guy and I was like, oh, I think she's calling you. And I was like, that's just a little helpful deed of the day. And I've also started doing it on the tube, where I've noticed if somebody has come on and they can't get two seats together, I'll offer to swap so they can sit together. It sounds stupid, just like tiny things, but it's so easy to just ignore everyone around you and have your headphones in and just like stick your head down and not do anything. But I think it's important to help people, and it does make you feel better. It gives you a little kick yourself. You're like, do you know, I'm a lovely, great person and I deserve the world. I'm like, good karma's gonna come to me because I'm absolutely wonderful. And it does make you feel good. Like, there's a whole actual scientific thing about it. I actually had no plan to talk about this on the episode, but I guess that could be my thought of the week. Like, I highly recommend it. If you see somebody in need this week, give them a little hand. They'll be grateful and they'll give you a little boost. Anyway, actually, speaking of thought of the week, you know, last week I was on about big dicks. When I listened to that episode back, when I was editing it, I was like, I never said the word penis so much. It was almost like I was afraid to say the word dick on the podcast, because obviously dick is a little bit, it does lower the tone a little bit more than the word penis. So I think I was aware of that, and I just kept saying, all I heard was like penis. I just kept saying penis over and over again. So I'm just gonna go with dicks this week. Yeah, so I know last week I was on about Meghan Trainor and the big dick story, and I was like, if you've got a big dick story, please send it to me. Guys, a listener sent one to me the same day, the same morning the podcast came out. I think it was like 2 or 3 hours later, I got a DM, and honestly, when I tell you it made my day, I was like, thank God. I was just so excited to have a big dick story. I don't even know why, but I have to read it out because I loved it. Hey Sadie, how are you? I love your podcast. Enjoy hearing all the dating stories. Thank you. I have a story regarding a large P. I was dickmatized when I tell you I howled at that word, and I'm absolutely going to be using it on the podcast. Like, prepare to hear the word dickmatized on you, because I've never heard it before and I absolutely loved it. I was being dickmatized for about 5 years straight. Realised my ex was a total psychopath, questioned his sanity and mine for even staying in that toxic situation for that many years. But he did have an abnormally large penis, and whilst it wasn't always enjoyable, I do think that I was hypnotised by the schlong for sure. It still makes me laugh. Now when I look back at his social media and cringe, I know it must have only been the aubergine. But I'm happily engaged to the love of my life now, sane in love rather than crazy in love. Which I absolutely love that. How funny. And I didn't know if I was going to go into this. I didn't go into it last week. I don't think I've ever shared my story of the abnormally large dick that I had before. I wasn't dickmatized in the sense of like the guy wasn't an idiot or anything. The guy was nice, but oh my god, I know already that if my friends are listening to this, they'll know who I'm on about. Even my friend's boyfriend knows about this other man's penis because it was so large, guys. And it's just one of those things that was like enjoyable, but you just couldn't have it forever because you just can't do as much with it as you could. Oh, I'm trying to be coy, but basically you just can't like fit all of it in everywhere. So you are like you are just quite restricted. Yeah, but they are out there, like big penises are out there, and just watch you don't get dickmatized. I think I'm just going to cut my story there. Actually, I'm going to cut it short because I don't want to go down that path, not this week, not yet. This is why I need to set up Patreon where I can just be like freer. I think Patreon is less censored. Anyway, when she said the word sane in love rather than crazy in love, I loved that. And I was like, we've all done stuff because we're in love, like crazy things. Like we've all acted crazy, we've all acted toxic. And so I put this on Instagram. I asked, what's the craziest thing you've done for love? And I've got some answers from you guys. I also did some digging on the internet, and I just basically put my favourite ones together to share. So the first one, I booked a hotel, travelled miles, and when I arrived, she had double booked me and another guy. She thought the other guy booked the room and then was embarrassed when I turned up. She then had a tantrum and blamed us both for setting her up. I'm sorry, who's the crazy one there? Because it's not sounding like you, mate, I'll be honest. Yeah, you booked the hotel and travelled miles, but is that a crazy thing you do for love? That's just what you do for love, I like to think. She's definitely the crazy one there. Imagine double booking 2 guys and like not realising. Like, I've got a bad memory, but I can't imagine double booking a guy. I've definitely done 2 dates in a night before, but that was just like a spur of the moment thing, not like a pre-planned / accident. And also I was single, like we weren't dating properly. Hacked into his Facebook and deleted all friend requests and DMs of any girls before he saw them. That is one of the craziest things I have ever read. Like, when I got that, I was like, you win. You actually win. Had a threesome and told myself it would strengthen our bond. It didn't. Oh no, I can't deal. I can't deal with the repercussions of having a threesome gone wrong with your partner. Because imagine how excited you are going to that. You're thinking it's going to strengthen you. You're thinking it's going to be such a turn on. So excited. Going in being like, this is going to be the hottest thing ever. Like, you've spoken about it a lot on the sex. Like, you're excited, you've picked out the third person, you're like raring for it. Imagine the replays we're going to be able to do, the sex is going to be coming after it, like it's going to be so hot. And then doing it and getting back into the taxi on the way home together in complete silence, like, do not touch me, do not look at me, I can't be near you, I saw the way you looked at that other person, or you've never looked like that for me, you've never moaned like that for me, how dare you even suggest this? And sitting back in that taxi in shock and then in silence for the rest of the way home, knowing that you can't take it back and it's done. I just can't deal with that. Would I take the risk? Maybe. But, whew, it's a big risk. You have to be so sure, because that could go so wrong so quick, couldn't it? That was juicy though. Maybe this is what I can ask for this week. If anyone's got any threesome gone wrong stories with relationships, send them my way. Well, actually, maybe not just gone wrong, maybe positive ones. Maybe I should look for some positive ones next week. I got a tattoo of his name on my bum. Hun, when was that ever going to be a good idea? Come on now, we know better than this. We never ever tattoo somebody's name on us. I snuck my boyfriend in through the window. When the security alarms went off, I played clueless while I hid him in the closet. Oh my god, I would absolutely shit myself if I was that guy in the closet. Like, imagine like your girlfriend or boyfriend's parents opening the door and you were crouched down in a wardrobe. How embarrassing. I met a guy while I was studying abroad in London. I went back to America and we kept talking, so I flew to go visit him during my break. He ghosted me and I left early. The horror of that. People just honestly don't give a fuck, do they? I pretended I was pregnant so he wouldn't break up with me. No. That's like another level of crazy. I think that's like going into psychopath. Because also, if they stay with you, have you then also got a fake losing the baby? It's just too much, and I'm not prepared to put that work in unless I'm being up for like an Emmy or an Oscar at the end of it. It's just too much effort. I got into a fight with another girl at a bar because she wouldn't stop talking to my crush. I've never gotten in a fight in my life. Oof, that is crazy. That's like when you've got that adrenaline running through you and you will do anything for that man. You will do anything for that man that you just met in that moment. That man that you're not even in love with but you just fancy. And in the heat of that moment, that girl looks at him the wrong way and you're ready to pounce. Ooh, that is the worst feeling. I've never actually experienced it, but I can imagine what it's like. I moved across the country to be with him when he was stationed at a military base. I ended up having an affair with his best friend and marrying him. The scandal. That is the craziest thing ever. The crazy thing is moving across the country for him. That's like, you know, that is quite a crazy thing to do. But then you had an affair and then you ended up marrying the best friend. Oh, there's so many ways you could look at that. You could look at it as a scandal and like a bit of a disgrace, but you could also look at it as like how meant to be were you two souls, like, and you needed basically your ex to meet the love of your life. Wow, so interesting. Okay, well I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys as always for listening, sending all your stories in. Please keep them coming. Anything you want me to talk about, send me a request, and please share the podcast with your friends, share the reels, save them, come follow me. Just help the gal out so we can reach 1,000 followers. You know, I'm doing a giveaway when I reach 1,000 followers on Spotify, and then a separate giveaway when I reach 1,000 followers on YouTube, subscribers. So yeah, we have got a reward at the end of it. We can get it together. I'm on about 700, I think, followers on Spotify. Not like me to not know the exact number, but you know, I'm recording this on the weekend, so I've been out and about. But best believe, usually I check them every day, and I see it go up by even one, and I just absolutely love it. Like, I honestly, I say all the time, it makes my day, and I do really appreciate it. So yeah, please come give me a follow, a subscribe, and I'll speak to you next week. Thank you.